Malignant narcissists, they don't have the ability to care. Remember after Charlie Kirk died, and it was like the day after, and Felon 47 was getting off a plane, past the reporters, and one of them asked, "Hey, sir, how are you doing after the tragic loss of your friend?" Yeah, I'm all right. You see what they're doing in the ballroom? He doesn't care. He doesn't have the ability, the capacity. And we knew that he's been threatening the act for a long time, right? He threatened it down in Oregon. I say down here in Oregon because it's right beneath me on a map. Cuckoo, down in Portland and up in Seattle. How many times did he say it about Portland? I don't have time. I don't know how many times he said it, but he said it often. Miller said it to scare us, to squash dissent. It's to make people too afraid to come out. It's everybody's right to protest. I'm not sorry. It's your fucking obligation at this point. That's it, and that's all. Or if I get arrested and they didn't give me my medications, brutal. The guy that they choked out, they just wanted his medication. I would be going nuts. I would probably not make it. But I'm making a banner. Still run my fucking mouth like this to go out. I'm going with my neighbor. Because it's worth it. If we're not willing to unalive on this hill, he's coming out with this HR 7114, the rewards for you snitching on your neighbor, and use AI to attribute comments to them, because that's gonna be so easy to cheat and get people locked up for nothing. And as far as the cops, he's always wanted to let them loose. He's always wanted to. This is exactly what he wanted when he said.
It's a disgusting thing. I've watched that for years, for 3-4 years. I've watched them. The police are standing, and they're told, don't do anything under any such, and you can see they want to get at it. And they're standing there, and people are spitting in their face, and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want.
Even in his first term, there were so many serious, professional, qualified people with actual merit. Not like the freak show dumpster fire we have running our country, this idiocracy of a kakistocracy. And they were warning us.
He's going to finally give a direct order to deploy paratroopers into the streets of Washington, D.C., and I'm thinking with weapons and bayonets. And this would be horrible.
What specifically was he suggesting that the U.S. military should do to these protesters?
He says, can't you just shoot them? Just shoot them in the legs or something. And he's suggesting that that's what we should do, that we should bring in the troops and shoot the protesters.
The commander-in-chief was suggesting that the U.S. military shoot protesters.
Yes, in the streets of our nation's capital. That's right.
So if you are still with me now, this, I think, is some of the best advice, and it's also recaps and plays videos. Robert Reich, thank you so much.
Trump wants to invoke the Insurrection Act to punish anyone who opposes him.
If you take a look at what's been going on in Portland, it's been going on for a long time, and that's insurrection. I mean, that's pure insurrection.
I know all of this is frightening, and I don't want to unduly alarm you, but you need to be aware of this imminent danger. It's unfolding very, very rapidly. He's following a 4-point plan that you need to know about. Step 1 is to deploy ICE into so-called blue cities run by Democrats. These masked and armed ICE agents are wreaking havoc on American cities and violating due process. They're arresting people outside immigration courtrooms. They're raiding homes in the middle of the night and detaining children and adults, including American citizens. They admit to using racial profiling. These aggressive tactics are provoking demonstrations, which leads me to Step 2, exaggerate the scale and severity of the protests. Trump has described Portland as a war-ravaged city burning to the ground, but Portland's own police chief has debunked that.
City of Portland is about 145 square miles. This is one city block. Even the events that are happening down there do not rise to the level of attention that they are receiving.
And Trump continues to describe Chicago as a war zone. But recently that's because of ICE agents who've sprayed tear gas, pepper balls, and rubber bullets into crowds of journalists and protesters gathered outside a detention facility. But that doesn't seem to matter to Trump. It's all part of a plan to establish a pretext for Step 3, deploy National Guard troops. Trump is deploying hundreds of National Guard troops from red states like Texas into blue states like Oregon and Illinois against the wishes of Democratic governors. This is continuing to enrage an already outraged public, which is the whole point. Trump wants to stoke actual violence, which would make it easier for him to unleash the final step in his plan, which is Step 4, invoke the Insurrection Act. The Insurrection Act empowers a president to federalize the National Guard and use the U.S. military to suppress civil disorder, insurrection, or armed rebellion against the government. Everything done by Trump has been a preamble to invoking this act and being able to unleash troops against his perceived political enemies who oppose his regime in advance of the 2026 midterms. It would be the ultimate step in Trump's authoritarian power grab. There are fights happening in the courts right now that could put a stop to all of this. Even Trump's own appointed judges in the federal courts are standing in opposition to him. And you have a role to play too. Trump and his enablers want violent confrontations in order to justify their moves. So please, remain peaceful if you protest, or if you encounter ICE agents or National Guard troops where you live. Do not give Trump what he wants. Instead, record what you see and post it. Send it to local media. Do whatever you can to chip away at the false narrative Trump and his cronies are trying to build as a pretext for unleashing their power grab and stripping away our freedoms. And please help spread the word about what Trump is planning by sharing this video.